Technical debt is a constant thing that we're facing. So it's not ending with the MVP. So you have a release, you have a contractual obligation from a customer, or even a feature that you just want to get to market as fast as you can. You always need to make that trade-off between, do I want to finish it all the way around and invest the engineering time in creating something that is going to be super scalable and as clean code as possible and can be easily to refactor later on, or we need to run fast and just do that. So we have a bunch of guidelines. No feature is being released without tests. No pull request is being approved without tests. My name is Roi Ravhon. I'm the co-founder and CEO of FinOps.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries who share in the critical moments of what it takes to change an industry and build and lead a team that has your back. I'm your host, Noah Labhart, and today how Roi Ravhon built the product that's the one source of truth for all your various cloud costs. All this and more on Code Story. Roi Ravhon's path to tech started in the Israeli military, like many other founders in Israel. In fact, the very first introduction he had to computers was when he joined the services. This is a common story with founders in the area, as I've noticed from other interviews I've done. He lives in Tel Aviv, and he's a big fan of music, sports, and running his company. In his previous role at Logs.io, Roi and his team spent large sums of money for cloud providers and services. The finance team quickly got wind of these costs and started asking questions. Roi found out that he didn't have answers to the questions, and there wasn't tooling out there to help him. This is the creation story of FinOps.
In my previous role, I was engineering director in a company called Logs.io, it's like a Datadog and Splunk competitor. In Logs.io, we spent lots of money running a super complicated cloud environment. The more time that the time has passed, we started to pay more money for the cloud providers and to pay more money for more cloud providers and more services. Right, so we started just by running on AWS, and then some of the workload shifted to Azure, and then we purchased Akamai and Stripe and Twilio and Mailchimp, and a bunch of different services that all always increased. And the finance department were coming to us to ask us, hey guys, why do we spend so much money for those services? How much do we pay for a specific customer? What's the price of that feature? How can we be more competitive in the market? We felt that, we should have the answers to those questions that were, supposed to be trivial. But unfortunately, the current tooling in the market just gave us the notion of how much we're paying and we're missing the why part. So this is why we decided to build FinOps. That was in March of 2021. We were officially funded. We're free partners. Essentially, what you want to do in FinOps is to take all the usage-based price software out there. So cloud providers, but also solutions like Snowflake, like Datadog, like wherever that you're really actually paying lots of money for. Once we have that cost within FinOps, we need to enrich it. So we need to support native technologies like Kubernetes, like Spark, like RDS, to really break down the cost into more and more granular units. Once we have all those individual components, we can help customers assign the cost directly to their respective team, feature, product, whatever that they're running on. We can help them identify and create their unit economics. So instead of just looking at how much money do you spend for AWS, they can start to look at how much money do you spend per event, per click, per transaction, per gig, per whatever. And we can help them tie those costs directly to their customers to understand their profitability margins and to help them actively save money on their entire spend so they can be more profitable, they can draw their path to profitability, and they can build better cloud products.
So tell me about the MVP. So that first product you built, how long did it take to build, and what sort of tools did you use to bring it to life?
It's a common knowledge that if you're not super ashamed of your MVP, you released it too late. We were highly ashamed of a product that we released. I looked at the pictures of it a few months ago, and I grabbed my head and how did we let that happen? I really believe that building an MVP is not what you think is an MVP, rather when the market points you to it. If you don't have customers that are using your product and give you feedback, so how can you build your MVP? So this was something that guided us from day one. We gathered as many design partners as we can. We gathered as many folks that can just use the platform and give us constant feedbacks while we were actively developing. That allowed us to get to a point that we have a product that really worth money for customers very early on, because we were able to distill that feedback. So we built everything on AWS, everything on Kubernetes, as many managed services as we can. We prioritize time to market more than anything. We try to use the modern technology, so everything is built on Node.js and on Python, running Spark jobs. The entire technology behind the scenes is as modern as it could be, to really time to value. This is the only important thing when building an MVP.
You alluded to some of these, but I'm gonna dig into them, or open up some space a little bit for decisions and trade-offs that you had to make. So this could be technical debt, feature cut, releasing as fast as possible. Tell me about some of those decisions and trade-offs you had to make and how you coped with those decisions.
Technical debt is a constant thing that we're facing. So it's not ending with the MVP. So you have a release, you have a contractual obligation from a customer, or even a feature that you just want to get again to market as fast as you can. You always need to make that trade-off between, do I want to finish it all the way around and invest the engineering time in creating something that is going to be super scalable and as clean code as possible and can be easily to refactor later on, or we need to run fast and just do that. So we have a bunch of guidelines. No feature is being released without tests. No pull request is being approved without tests. We try to keep high confidence of our code and build everything right, but we do know and need to compromise on specific technical debts, because again, if we're not going to release the feature, we can build a product for years without selling it, but we're probably gonna run out of money and close the business. So technical debt is an ever evolving and it's constant debate, and different factors of the organization as you grow starts to push to different sides, right? So sales wants you to create more features for your users, and the product wants to create the complete and round product roadmap that they have. Engineering wants to prioritize on their debt and build use the more most innovative technologies. It's always about all of keeping that trade-offs to match the business, but also keeping your growth and not digging up holes before you get in.
This episode is sponsored by Vanta. You're a startup founder. Finding product market fit is probably your number one priority. But to land bigger customers, you also need security compliance. And obtaining your SOC 2 or ISO 27001 certification can open those big doors. But they take time and energy pulling you away from building and shipping. And that's where Vanta comes in. Vanta is the all-in-one compliance solution helping startups like yours get audit ready and build a strong security foundation quickly and painlessly. How, you ask? Vanta automates the manual security tasks that slow you down, helping you streamline your audit. And the platform connects you with trusted vCISOs to build your program, auditors to get you through audits quickly, and a marketplace for essentials like pen testing. Join over 8,000 companies, including many Y Combinator and Techstars startups who trust Vanta. Simplify compliance and get $1,000 off at vanta.com/codestory. That's VANTA.com/codestory. This episode is sponsored by Kinsta. Between juggling client meetings, managing your website, and keeping up with everyday tasks, who has the time to stress out about website security? Well, with Kinsta, the technical stuff is taken care of, so you can focus on what you do best. Kinsta provides managed hosting for WordPress, offering lightning-fast load times, top-tier security, and unmatched human-only customer support. Whether you're a business owner, web developer, or running a digital agency, Kinsta makes managing your website easy and efficient. Kinsta provides enterprise-grade security, being one of the few hosting providers for WordPress with SOC 2 and other certifications, guaranteeing the highest level of security for your website. Thanks to their unlimited free expert-led migrations, Kinsta ensures a smooth transition for you from other hosting providers. Customers have reported 200% faster load times post-migration to their platform. What I find cool about Kinsta is their fast and reliable customer service and premium features that are included at no extra cost. Ready to experience Kinsta's hosting for yourself? Get your first month free when you sign up at kinsta.com today. That's KINSTA.com. Okay, so from that point then, how did you progress the product and mature it? And I'm curious how you went about building your roadmap and how you went about deciding, okay, this is the next most important thing to build.
We try to gather as much feedback as we can from customer and prospects. And if we got to the point that we're hearing the same feedback from 20 different prospects that they can't use FinOps because they don't have X, it's apparent that we need to build that in order to support it. And we need to make sure that we're not skewing our results based on specific territories or specific segments or verticals. So we try to gather feedback from as many companies as we can. We try to talk to as many users as we can. I think one of the earliest points that we did was flying to reInvent. We didn't have nothing. We didn't even have a product to show. But we wanted to talk to as many users as we can. So we hosted a drinks event. We got lots of registrants and folks that came. And we just started to talk to everyone about their cloud cost management, about their needs, about telling them about FinOps, getting their feedback. So this is really what's shaping the product. So product need to be, in my opinion, based on the actual users and the buyers, and not based on what you want to build, or the market needs you to build.
So let's switch to team then. So how did you go about building your team? And what did you look for in those people to help indicate that they were the winning horses to join you?
So I think the biggest challenge of building a company is hiring your first employees. When you just got funded, you don't even have a website. You don't have anyone who knows you. No one even heard your name. You haven't had a PR yet, and you need to convince someone to quit their job and come work for you, which is a really non-logical thing to do, right? You don't want to compromise. You can't compromise. Like, the first 20 people need to be A-list. They're the one that's going to build your company later on. They're the one that's going to recruit the next generation of employees. They're the one that's going to create the culture, create the code base, create the guidelines, create everything. In the early days, we spent like half our times interviewing. We wanted to really get the best folks out there. So we scanned our entire LinkedIn network. I got the folks that we served in the army with, that we studied with, that friends of friends of friends, trying to really build everything to get to the right team. But once you're talking to someone and he's really he understands the vision, understands what you want to build, and you see that sparkle in their eyes, that they get what FinOps is trying to do, they get the magnitude of the problem, and they want to commit to that. That this is a team player. That this is someone who is gonna work himself out to build the product and to build what you're doing. These are the players that you really want to get.
Well, Roy, as you step out on the balcony and you look across all that you've built, what are you most proud of?
The first time that we're getting a quote from a customer saying that we saved him a bunch of money, or that he is enjoying using the product, or when we were releasing a new feature that we're starting to get Slack messages from a bunch of our customers saying, "Thank you so much for releasing this. Is what we were expecting." These are moments that give you, that give you joy, that give you pride, that you managed to build something, as a company that is impacting the way that the companies are consuming cloud cost and changing the day-to-day operation. And you see daily users that are using something that you build. You see the employees coming to the office that you built, to spend time with one another and really create the culture of the company that you envisioned that you're going to build. Those are the things that really keeps us and gives us the fuel to continue doing what you're doing.
So let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
So I think very early on, we focused the product on the wrong persona. What we're selling is going to be very appealing to finance. We talked to a bunch of CFOs, we talked to a bunch of VP finance, to start and pitch them FinOps, and they were super receptive of what we have to do. We figured out that there was no really organizational buy-in to do something that finance wants. They just don't have that influence. Just by changing the way that when we started to build the product like DevOps engineers, so we build the product that DevOps engineers wants to use, and when we started talking to DevOps, our convergence rate started to get through the roof, is because that DevOps getting those questions from finance, and we can help them deal with it, and we can help them build the product that we're actually wanting to use, because while doing the product and building it for finance, it was super intuitive, super simple, super fast, super easy to integrate. And the best way that DevOps wants to implement products now is to spend as few time as possible to actually integrate it and just get value super fast. correcting that mistake and really changing the way that we did the right persona to chase after, we saw like great value, and it's I think one of the biggest mistakes that we made early on.
Well, this will be fun, Roy. So tell me what the future looks like for the product and for your team.
Future is going to be amazing. We're building something huge here. When we're thinking about the market, the SAPs of the world really dropped the ball when it comes to usage-based pricing. This means that they could deal really great with invoices that are just arriving once a month, once a year, things that are being contributed to headcount. Once we're starting to talk about instances that are billed by the second and queries that are billed by the gig, those solutions break. They can just get the invoice at the end of the month. They have no idea what's happening in between. We see that the market is going towards more and more usage-based consumption. So more companies are offering their solution as usage-based, and more companies are more eager to buy this kind of software because it's easier for them to run that procurement processes. And the way that we envision FinOps is to be that next generation of ERP systems for cloud-native technologies. We want to be the system of record, to aggregate all cloud spend, all expenses throughout everything that is part of the cloud, that is not tangible assets. We're going to support that migration from CapEx to OpEx and really be there to enable digital transformation for companies that not even halfway through. That's the future that we envision for FinOps. That's what we want to build.
Let's switch to you, Roy. Who influences the way that you work? Name someone or many persons or something you look up to, and why.
I'm not a big believer, of reading of super influential people that everyone named. I want to get proper examples of people like know and trust. Something that I try to do is to keep good relations with a bunch of other CEOs, both that are a few months before me, a few years before me, a decade before me, and even folks that are a few months behind me or a year behind me. Getting that support group really what's makes me going, because now I'm facing the most critical dilemma that I think about that's gonna really impact the entire future of FinOps. And then you're consulting, a CEO that's been in that dilemma just a few months ago, and it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're going to decide. Everything's going to be okay. Just don't sweat over it. Just decide something that's better than not deciding at all. Having those kind of support groups, and this really impacts the way that I operate, because I can have that folks that I know and trust and build that long-term relationship. And I really must, base my operation on those folks rather than on people I read in a book somewhere or read an article that they read.
Well, okay, we talked about a mistake earlier, but a little bit different spin. If you could go back to the beginning, what would you do different, or where would you consider taking a different approach?
When we started FinOps, something that was very important to us was to work together. So we hired a shared WeWork space, and then we migrated to another shared WeWork space, just a bigger room. And we felt that it was great, but it's not really giving us the real office vibe and office sensation. And after we found an office space of our own in Tel Aviv and we migrated to it, we immediately saw a change throughout the organization. So everyone was starting to really behave, and work together as a company, and to eat lunch together, and to be a lot more open, and to work together and play music and to talk, and the entire atmosphere changed. And I think something that I would change is to get all in on an office as fast as I can, to get an office and invest money in an office that is big enough and convenient enough and really accommodates the way that the company is working, and not spending too much time at WeWork and not managing to really generate that culture that is only going to happen when you have your own space.
Well, Roy, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world. Can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
Pick your teammates. An idea is going to change. The way that you think about the idea right now, and the passion that you have for it is going to change. The constant things are your running mates, the co-founders that you start business with, the early investors can change every single person in your life other than your investors in your company. So it's really important to pick the right folks to run alongside them and to make sure that you have a strong connection, that you trust one another, that you're getting money from people that you know that is gonna, push you to your limits, but also, roll down in the mud with you if you're down. So it's all about persons. It's all about the people, and building a business is not about technology. It's not about anything. It's about creating that, camaraderie and work that you're running together. And with that, going to come great results. And if you're going to have an issue there, so your entire company is in jeopardy, it doesn't matter how good of product that you have and how good of go-to-market strategy you have, and how many millions of dollars do you have in ARR. If your culture is wrong, then it's going to be very hard to do something.
That's great advice. Roi, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of FinOut. And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
You're a startup founder. Finding product market fit is probably your number one priority. But to land bigger customers, you also need security compliance. Obtaining your SOC 2 or ISO 27001 certification can open those big doors, but they take time and energy, pulling you away from building and shipping. That's where Vanta comes in. Vanta is the all-in-one compliance solution helping startups get audit ready and build a strong security foundation quickly and painlessly. Vanta automates the manual security tasks that slow you down, helping you streamline your audit. The platform connects you with trusted experts to build your program, auditors to get you through audits quickly, and a marketplace for essentials like pen testing. So whether you're closing your first deal or gearing up for growth, Vanta makes compliance easy. Join over 8,000 companies, including Y Combinator and Techstar startups who trust Vanta. For a limited time, get $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/simplify. That's VANTA.com/simplify for $1,000 off.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.